Would you buy the car again?
Oh.
How about you?
Would I buy it? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for helping us reach 600 subscribers. The support, the feedback you guys are giving is really appreciated. It's helped make better content, and just the engagement we're getting from you is like, it's fantastic. Did not expect this when we first started out. So thank you so much for that. If you are new to the channel and this is your first time, you're in the right place. What we do is basically cover the A3 in the greatest depth across the whole of YouTube. Everything from the optional features, what shape you should buy, sportback saloon, comfort and sound pack, panoramic roof. What else have we done?
Storage pack.
Storage pack.
Matrix lights.
Matrix lights. Basically everything, guys, yeah? So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to find out everything, and check out the channel. We've got really helpful playlists that should help you find everything you need to know. Moving on to this video, a while back we done a 1,000 mile review. So in that one, we basically looked at what we felt. We had the car for approximately a month at that time, and we were one of the first to get this. So now I know a lot of you have got your orders in between, so I'm really eager to see down below in the comments whether you share the same opinions. We've just hit 2,000 miles on the car. We're just over into our 6th month of ownership, so a real good feel for the car, and really help you on whether or not you should buy the car, what the key things are to factor in, and basically how we're going to make it different from last time. You already know what my thoughts on the car are, so what we're going to do is give you a female perspective as well. So we'll bring in Sana, and then also we'll give you a neutral. So obviously myself and Sana own the car. We're going to say largely positive things about it, and then we'll finish it off with a little Q&A. You'd want to stay tuned to the end for that, and also at the end we'll cover off some of the issues I highlighted on my first video, where we've got to with that, how much of those have Audi fixed, that sort of thing. So make sure you stay tuned for the whole video. I promise you it's going to be an interesting one, and let us know down below. If you're here part of the live stream, get the conversation going. I'm here, we're all here, Sana's here, Mutz is here. Get the conversation going, let's see what you guys think, right? With that said, let's introduce the female back to the channel. So Sana, right, so we're going to start with the 5 things that Sana likes about the car. You've done, what would you say, the bulk of the mileage on the car so
Probably,
far, right?
yeah. Drive it a few times a week.
It is her car. I just drive it every now and then, but she drives it to work back and forth. So start off with number 1. Right.
So let's start with the lights.
Cool.
So I love the dynamic sweeping movement.
Yeah.
I feel like I just indicate for the sake of it. There's times where I don't need to indicate, but I will indicate just because I kind of know it looks cool.
So you're just looking in the reflection of
Yeah.
the past. See that, guys? That's why she indicates.
I think it's worth it.
But what about, remember when we went Lake District and you liked the way they were automatically turning on and off?
I think that's really clever. Because it's not something you usually remember. So when you are driving on a dark road, you always forget about the oncoming vehicle and that you might be dazzling them. So knowing that the car's actually thinking for you and you don't need to worry about it, it's actually really clever.
I also think it's worth mentioning, this being at edition 1, it's standard. If you want more info on the matrix lights, just click on up there. So the second one then, you mentioning this to me on the way up here,
Yeah.
it's, I mean, we compared this against the previous version, but the styling is very different on this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is it that you like most about that, sorry? And I should say this in number 2.
I like that, the grille, the whole honeycomb effect, just the way everything's so angular. I like that.
Yeah.
It just looks like a mean car.
And in fact, the angular stuff, just come down here, you can kind of see, like, it's all the way down. All the way down here. Very,
Yeah.
I guess as a bloke, we'd probably say it's aggressive.
Yeah, and I like the fact it's not bubbly, like you get those bubbly sort of marshmallow looking cars. It's not one of those. And I also like the inside of the car. So I really like the way the whole dashboard's laid out. I like the futuristic element. Again, it's a completely different direction from what my Mini was like. The Mini was quite classic, it had a vintage look. I thought that's something I didn't want to move away from, but actually owning this car, I'm actually really glad it's quite modern. I feel like that's where I should be now, the world's moving forward. I need to have something that's a bit futuristic, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah,
It's nice,
well,
yeah.
definitely, and I can totally relate to that. I mean, the Alcantara seats that we've got, I really like them. They're sporty, aggressive. They feel really nice to sit in, but
They look quite premium, I'd say. Bit like a sofa.
yeah, but I think we've had this conversation. If you were to have kids, or if you tend to eat in the car, etc., you'd be really paranoid about spilling something on there, because the type of material that is, it's probably really stubborn to get off. So, worth bearing that in mind. Although, to be honest, if you're in the UK and specking at edition 1, tough. That's all they come with. You can't upgrade to anything else. Moving on to the third one,
Yep.
number 3. Now this one is one that you've kind of taken from me. So
That's something
I
I
wanted
wanted,
this
yeah.
to start out with. You
Yeah.
weren't that keen. Thought it was a bit gimmicky.
Yep.
But do you want to tell everyone what it is?
So the third one, hate to say it, is the ambient lighting. Like Azam just said, it's not something I initially wanted. I thought, why would we ever select it as an option extra? But it's actually really nice. It makes the car feel really warm. Just really welcoming. It's nice to be driving around with that subtle lighting around you.
Especially with your early shifts that you've been pulling at work recently, so you've been getting up 6:30 in the morning, leaving. I don't know, it's a really welcoming place to be, and it's a standard feature on the Edition 1, but when we were looking at it, I remember, for me it was a plus point. I was like, oh, we get the ambient lighting, but Sana wasn't that keen on it at the time. But what would you say to somebody buying an S3 or an S-Line at the moment? Would you say absolutely £110 is
I think for £110, definitely worth it. You're not breaking the bank for it, so.
I'm getting no commission from Audi for this, guys, but it's just us
I
truthfully
think it's
telling
nice. But the thing is, I don't really fiddle about with the colours. I've set it, it's there.
Yeah.
But it's just nice having it there.
you. Yeah, and sometimes when I drive, I forget to change the colours, so I drive around with like pink strips going around the car.
He actually likes that.
And then when Mutz jumps in, he's like, mate, what's going on right now? Like I say, we get no commission from this. Our particular one has got quite a lot of optional upgrades. It's just about giving you guys the view on how we feel about it, or whether it's worth it. In fact, plug time, there's an ambient lighting video up here. So make sure you click on that if you want to find out all about that as well. On to the fourth light, guys.
Okay, so my fourth favourite is the proximity warning that comes up in the virtual cockpit. So it's something that I've actually never really noticed. So when I'm driving, when there's a car ahead of me, I think I'm actually at a safe distance, there's nothing to worry about. But actually owning this car has made me realise sometimes I'm actually driving really close to the vehicle in front of me. So I think it's actually really good safety-wise, and I think it's a really important feature to have.
Number 5, guys.
Okay, so the fifth favourite is actually the lane change assist. Something that Azam wasn't really keen on when I first thought it was a really good optional extra, but I actually genuinely think it's a really good optional extra. It just gives me a bit more confidence when I'm changing lanes. There's been lots of times where I can't see any cars behind me and I'm like, yeah, it's fine, but actually my mirrors are telling me something else, and I give it a second or two and I do see a car go past. So yeah, again, I think it's a really good feature to have.
Right, so moving on to the second part, like I said, you guys already saw some of the dislikes that I had. We are going to go into that in the end and give you an update. We'll literally go through the list and tell you where we are with that. But I wanted this one to be very much about, from a female's perspective, from Sana's perspective, what's the things she doesn't really like about their car. Let us know down below if those of you who have got the car already or are looking to buy the car, whether you agree with these things, if you have any different ones. It's just interesting, right? When we first put this video out, we were one of the only ones with the car, but it's now 6 months on. There's a lot more of these on the road. Just interested to see how everyone else feels about it, really. Cool. So, should we start at number 1? First dislike?
So for the first dislike, I don't know if you've noticed it, but with the mirror, when it's set to the heated function, it doesn't dip when you're reversing.
That is true, yep.
So only if there was an option, we could have both, heated and the camera dipping when you're reversing.
That's actually a fair point. I mean, I wonder if there's a reason. Guys, is there a reason why it's like that? So you can see, like, there's the little knobs that you can basically... I think that's the only knob in the whole car, actually.
That's actually true, yeah.
So basically, when you turn it to the far left, what happens is the mirror drops as you put it into reverse. Now, if you have it like that, your mirrors aren't heated, so it gets a bit frustrating. And then what happens is, if you put it back on the heated, Next time you go in reverse, you forget, and the mirror's not dropping. Second one.
A lot of the material they've used in the car, not a big fan of. So this piano black, don't like the fact it's always got fingerprints everywhere. And that's the same with the touchscreen. So I'm constantly always having to wipe it down with a microfiber cloth.
You mentioned to me yesterday about the fact when using the MMI,
Yes, the sat nav.
you've got to kind of take your eyes off the road, which becomes a bit
That's
annoying.
quite irritating, especially with the sat nav.
Yeah.
When you're driving, the only way you could enter something to the sat nav is by actually writing it out.
Yes.
Which is also annoying because I could be driving, but my passenger's not driving, so why can't they?
Yeah. And that happened to us when we done the POV video, do you remember?
Yeah.
Where basically you sat there like this.
Yeah.
But it makes you think, even as a driver, if that's for safety that you have to sit there and handwrite whilst you're driving, surely it's quicker to press a keyboard button than it is to have I curved my S enough or
But saying that, it's actually really good. Even when you write really
No,
slowly.
the recognition's great.
Well.
Yeah, the recognition's great, but I think it.
Yeah, because I'm not left-handed, so it's just unnatural for me to try write.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's a bit difficult. But yeah,
So that's 2 done.
I think so.
That's 2 done.
Yeah.
Is that 2 done? Okay, that's 2 done.
That's it done.
I can't count anymore,
What's
guys.
the third one?
So third one is the. Oh, you might as well say it.
What are these called? Just the buttons?
Just the buttons, guys. Just the buttons.
Yeah, so third one is these control panels, the buttons here to control the temperature and the fan speed. When you're driving in the dark, it doesn't light up, so half the time I'm just guessing and just pressing anything and then hoping I'm pressing the right thing.
It's like they ran out of money to basically put the few remaining LEDs in. I mean, it might be a case of that if you look at the way the display is laid out,
Symmetry, I think.
it's literally, it's like you're looking down a column. So if you can see the temperature, you can feel that the button underneath there must be the one to control the temperature.
12 seconds later.
So we realised off camera that I can't count, and I think we're up to number 5. You'll find out in the editing if I got this right, otherwise I don't know what we're going to do. But I think we're up to number 5, and what's the dislike?
So the fifth one has to be the Audi app.
Yeah, the app. So that's
It's
one.
just not there yet, yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing we haven't videoed yet. We will at some point. I think right after we get to reviewing the wheel nut on the car, the locking nut. Let me know if you guys want that. No, I'm joking. We won't do that. But if you want it, we will. The Audi app, I think it's best described as a really good concept, but poorly executed, and few reasons behind that. So you might as well tell them what happens on a daily occurrence when you go to work.
Yeah, so a few times a week most probably. So once I get to work, that's it. I've locked my car, left it in the car park, and I don't think about it. But Azam here, he randomly goes into the app whilst he's at home just to see what the car's doing. And then I'll get all these panicking texts and calls saying, Sana, you left the car unlocked. Sana, the boot's open or the window's down. I'll run back to the car park and I swear the car's more shut than it can possibly be. It's fully locked, nothing wrong with it, and I've just ran for no reason.
Yeah, so basically the app lies to you. One of our subscribers, like, he gave me a really good story, so I'm going to share it with you guys. But imagine at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're checking your phone, and first thing is, why is he checking his phone at 3 o'clock in the morning? But anyway, that's for him to figure out. But he finds out that his car's unlocked, right? Well, the app's telling him that it's unlocked. So he's literally run down in his pajamas to the middle of the street, run down 10 flights of steps, got there, got to the car and figured out that it's fully locked. So basically the app's there. I think it might actually be a source of quite a lot of the warning lights and the issues with the car anyway. So I think it's very buggy. Not something that I would recommend using right now. Anything else you want to add to that, or we good?
I think that's... Oh, there's one. So when I was sitting in the back of the car whilst you're driving here, I feel like these are two big coffins, like standing upright. You just can't see past it.
I'm going to leave that in there because I don't even know what that means. But I think that pretty much sums it up. The guys probably want to know a bit more about what the car's like to drive. So what we're going to do at this point is we'll bring Mutz back into it. this is actually the first time you're properly driving this car.
That's right, yeah.
Maybe some of the things while we're driving, we'll talk about what some of the critics have been saying about the car,
Yeah.
and then get your views on whether you agree with that or not.
Yeah, and I mean, just for the viewers, in terms of, I own a Audi A4, which is a B8.5.
Yeah.
Or I would say a B8, which is a pretty fairly older car now. Is give or take about nearly a 10-year-old car. And you know, it would be nice to, you know, share some of my thoughts to comparing, you know, having an older car to driving this newer A3. You know, some of it feel amazing, some of it I might not agree with it, but let's see on the drive.
Let's go on out there.
Let's
and
go.
See
Let's
what
go.
you feel like.
I don't like this.
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't like this.
You know what? That probably took me about 6 months to get used to.
Yeah.
But once you do, it's quite good. So, we're
Why this little thing for?
Yeah.
Like, can't they just have a gear stick?
So we're talking about the little knobbly gear selector. Well, it's not even a knob, is it?
It's a switch.
Yeah.
If they didn't want to have a gearbox or gear stick here, why not just have a stalk on the steering wheel?
Yeah.
I don't see this. I feel this is pointless. But yeah. Anyway, let's do this.
We
drive.
haven't even moved yet. don't forget to put the parking brake down.
Oh yeah. Well,
in fact, it's automatic. So when you press the accelerator,
it should just
comes
come
off by itself. Yeah.
Mate, where's your brakes? I'm already doing like 20, and okay, let's find out if he's got brakes.
So that's interesting. That's your first time properly driving it, and you've questioned the brakes. Now, I know when I drove your car, they gave me whiplash, and your car's 11 years old?
Yeah, 11 years old. I mean, the brakes, when you probably drove it last, I think the brakes, genuine Audi brakes, and I think they've only done about 1,000 miles or so after getting them changed when you drove it.
Yeah, so when I got this, the first thing I immediately noticed, the brakes weren't that good on it. I felt the car was just like a bedding in process that it'd get a little bit better, but now that it's got 2,000 miles on there, it still feels exactly the same. Is it the same for everyone else? I don't know if it's is it because we've got an MHEV battery in this one that the braking, I don't know, is somehow not assisted as much, but it definitely doesn't feel like what I would expect a modern car brakes to feel like.
I like the steering wheel.
You in fact said it as well when you first saw it, that it's the steering wheel from the previous car.
Yeah.
So it's a bit lazy there.
It's just like a lift and shift from a previous model. I think, that's what it feels like.
So I guess that's a nice little segue into some of the things that people have been saying about this car, right? So cutbacks, that type of stuff. What's the interior feel like? What's your impressions on
it? I feel like they could have stepped up the game a little bit more. You know, from the previous Audi A3s, they were really nice cars.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the cutbacks. Your newer Audi A3 should be better than your previous one.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of drive, spot on. But when I look around, like the light switch, why can't you just have a normal standard knob where just switch around to where you want to be? You don't need buttons there. Yeah, I would prefer just a switch.
What about like the plastics and stuff of the car? Like, do you notice it? Is it something that jumped out at you?
No, I mean, I've sat in cars which is you scratch the dashboard and you can feel it's plastic.
Yeah.
But no, this is really nice. Like all the roof lining, the doors, it's not plastic. It's got a nice premium feel to it.
And that's the thing. I do think a lot of the time the reviewers are being a little bit harsh on the car.
Yeah.
Now this might be because I own one, but come on, like honestly, if you probably have done, watch the car wow videos. Who the hell gets in a car and starts moving the center console around?
No. It's subtle. I mean, it's got brushed chrome and things like that. It gives it that elegant look, which I really like. I really like that.
Because even like this, I don't know what you would even call it, but
it's just
it's a little
raised.
Yeah,
exactly, and that's quite nice.
What's your thoughts on the ride and the comfort of the car?
I like it. It's smooth.
As we literally just drove through a pothole.
Yeah, I mean, I did not feel that at all. I like it. It's smooth, and it's, you know, it drives the way it should drive. So
Yeah.
I can't complain about that. Spot on, like, you know.
So, because I know a lot of people have said on the edition ones it comes with the 19, the low profile tyres.
Yeah.
And I touched on it in my last video. I think it's all down to what you're used to.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's not a big deal.
No, I mean, you got 19-inch alloys on here, and you know, some cars with 19-inch alloys, they feel bumpy.
Yeah. I personally think these cars with 18s look a bit
Yeah.
too undersized.
Yeah. So I think again, they've done it with the power. I think this is a good amount of power.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't go for a 30 TFSI. Probably that's a little bit less power.
True. Yeah.
But I think this is perfect amount of power if you're driving around town. I don't think you need more than this. Or maybe you do, but that's
another video.
That's another video.
Another video. Stay tuned for that one. But I think that pretty much sums it up. That's his first thoughts on the car.
Yeah, overall, I'll give it a thumbs up. Audi's, yeah, they might have cut back a little bit in certain places, but I think overall they've done really well with the styling. Exterior styling, spot on. Interior styling, again, spot on, with maybe a few cutbacks, fine, you know. But overall, you know what, if I had to buy this car, I think I would. I do like A3s, but I'm more of an A4 person. But if I had to buy an A3 and I had the choice to buy it, I probably would.
Right guys, hope you enjoyed the driving part of the video. Let us know in the comment section down below if you want to see more of that stuff. So not necessarily just the A3, but if you want to see a different variety of cars, we'll start filming more of that. Now this penultimate part of the video, what we're going to be looking at is a Q&A quick fire session. So Mutz has pulled together
6 questions.
6 questions, and how's it going to work?
I'm going to ask you a rapid fire question, and you got to reply back to that.
Yeah.
So the question is going to go out to you and to you. Same question, you got to reply back to me in terms of something in relation to the car.
Okay, and we've not seen these before, so this is literally one take, and it's going to be how we're going to answer it.
That's right. Number 1. Dog. Right, so this one's more for the viewers. Do you help them, you know, if they're already owners or if they're planning to be owners of a new A3?
Yep.
So, your view. Quick question. What is the one thing that you both love about the A3?
For me, the exterior styling.
And for you?
Okay, I agree. The exterior and the interior styling for me.
Great. Question number 2. What is your best optional upgrade?
Panoramic roof.
Lane change assist.
Oh, 2 different answers. Number 3. What is your worst optional upgrade?
So, well, I've got a few, but we're only allowed to pick one. Right, so in hindsight, I think the storage pack, just because you shouldn't have to pay for it, it should be standard. So I'd say I shouldn't have had to pay for that.
Okay.
And yourself?
For me, I'd probably say the space saver. If I ever broke down, I'm not going to change the tire myself. So yeah, don't need that.
I totally forgot about that one because we've never used it.
Great. So I mean, I know you guys did pick a lot of upgrades on your car, and not the basic model. I mean, in terms of all of the upgrades, the optional upgrades that you picked, what do you think was the best upgrade that you picked out of everything?
So if I had to choose one, so I guess this is to give you guys advice on if there was only one optional upgrade to go for. For me, it would be the comfort and sound pack.
Okay.
And yourself?
I'd probably say the panoramic roof.
Number 5. Any suggestions to Audi?
So I think if they are watching this, I hope they are. I'm flattered. But I think basically just be open and transparent with your customers. Like, be willing to listen to them. It's okay to be in a situation where the consumers or people from the forums, etc., are in a position where we know a little bit more, but don't become defensive over it and just listen to us, because that's at the end of the day about a customer service experience.
Anything from you?
So what I'd say is, so we want to put a dash cam into the car. And speaking to Azam, I found out that actually the car comes with a lot of cameras. So what would be nice if they're actually able to fit a dash cam into one of the cameras that's already in the car.
Right, so moving on to the last one. Number 6. Would you buy the car again?
Oh. I think I will. Yeah, I think I would. Uh-oh.
How about you?
Would I buy it? So technically she's the owner of the car, right? She's the one that bought it. She would buy it again. I would say leaning towards yes, but that's only because there's still not, in my opinion, something that looks better on the market. I might be wrong, but like I said, it's my opinion. The only hesitation I do have is I've not exactly had the best customer service experience as part of the car. Now, we bought this car with a 5-year warranty pack on there, but I think this next statement will sum it up for you guys. I'm no longer going to keep the car outside of that 5-year period, even though we originally intended to, because the car will be sold. So that shows you where the confidence is in the car. It's a fantastic car, but not without its faults. It's not perfect.
Great.
Okay.
Any other thoughts before we close it up?
So actually, just before we close out, we did promise them an update on the issues from the first one, which I now need to go back and remember what exactly it was that I said. So going back to my previous video, the first issue we touched on was the electric seats. So the 35 TFSI S-Tronic Edition 1 actually came out of the factory, the first batch of cars, with the wrong seats. Now, loads of you will remember the videos on that. You've been part of the journey throughout. This now seems to have been resolved, so just this week we've heard of a few of you guys picking up your orders. You've now got the correct seats, so thumbs up there, it seems to be resolved. The second one was the door handle. So I actually didn't make a big deal of this because we were trying to keep the video short initially when we done it, but my passenger door handle doesn't close that well. I did take it back once to Audi and they told me the car was too new, so the rubber seals needed to bed in a little bit better. It's now 2,000 miles later, it's still exactly the same. I haven't been that bothered to take it back, just simply because it's having to take time off work, etc. It's not worthwhile just for a door closing. Number 3, the warning lights. So this one, I'm sure a lot of you are going to be commenting on down below. So the warning lights, everything, it's almost like we play warning light bingo on the Facebook groups about, oh, who's seen this one, who's seen this one. But let's not get too carried away. It is a brand new car. It has got more electrics than you could even possibly imagine. So my personal concern of always moving to a modern car was too many electrics, you're not going to be able to figure out what's going on. And it seems that's the case with the A3. So there's been a lot of issues with the MMIs, which trigger the warning lights. MMIs have been rebooting. Unfortunately, this has led to owners rejecting their cars. Now, I'm going to make a passing, sweeping comment here. I don't believe the issues just to the A3, it's across the whole VAG group, Volkswagen Audi group. Perhaps even wider than that. So a couple of people have commented when they've had Mercedes or BMWs in the past, electrical faults are pretty common. So I'm not going to be too harsh on them, but just important you guys realise that 6 months on, there isn't exactly a fix at the moment as well, and there's no correct date as to when it'll be available. The last one now, the software update. So many of you, like us, received the first batch of cars where we were given the old software. So we were given I think an October 2019 update on a car that was built in September 2020. Now, what we found was none of those cars had wireless CarPlay on there, and the reason for that was basically, we don't know to this day why they chose to do that, but Audi's official response back is after X build date, which I think is roughly October onwards, they included wireless CarPlay on the cars. So it's not just a matter of you having the right software update. A lot of you who've taken your cars back to Audi because of issues and have had the software upgraded have come back and reported that it's still not enabled wireless CarPlay, which as an update to you guys makes me think it's something hardware related or something buried within the coding that's not enabled. I hope that's been helpful to you guys. We've again tried to be as honest as we can throughout this whole process. Please take it with a pinch of salt. My hesitation around buying the car, it is a fantastic car, but like I said, it's not mine, it's my wife's, so she's telling you she would buy it again. I can only tell you some of the issues that we've had with it. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one.
Make sure you smash the like button, share and subscribe.
And we hope to see you in the next one.